mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. It is the offseason, but I would say this is pretty big offseason news is the Brock Purdy contract. That was something that was kind of, we talked about. I thought he was going to pass Dak. Just kind of that's how it goes, is this quarterback just continues to one up. But he's not even in the top 5, Austin, for
if you do total for like the total money he makes over the entirety of the contract, he is 5th. Makes $265. But if you do the contract average per year, so the average that he's going to be paid per season, he's 7th at $53 million. He's tied with Jared Goff. He's $100,000 per year less than Tua. He's $2 million less than Trevor Lawrence, $2 million less than Josh Allen, Jordan Love, and Joe Burrow. And still, Dak is $5 million above anyone else at $60 million per year.
Yeah, the contracts, I would say, with Dak were just not, they was done the worst way possible. And talking about Purdy, to me, the only thing that matters in those deals is the yearly contract, or how much it costs you per year.
Yeah, which is, and I like this contract for the 49ers. I really do. I think that he's a top 10 QB, and he's getting paid at that level. Like, he's not getting paid like a top 3 QB. Right? Like, he's getting paid $500,000 more than Justin Herbert. He's getting paid $1 million more than Lamar and $2 million more than Jalen Hurts. But he's in that tier of QB. Sure, Lamar probably is getting underpaid because he's a perennial MVP candidate. Sure. But Brock Purdy is not getting paid. He's getting paid $7 million less than Dak Prescott. And I think if you're the 49ers, you've been led to an NFC championship by Brock Purdy. You've been led to a Super Bowl in which if your defense had gotten a stop, you win the game. And Purdy was good last year throughout a plethora of offensive and defensive injuries. So I like this deal for the 49ers. I don't know if they got a steal, but I think it's a fair deal for both sides.
I agree it's a fair deal, and I'm surprised they were able to get it, just because to me it's a quarterback-favored market. The quarterback gets the deal they want. And maybe this is the deal Brock Purdy wanted, but I kind of am skeptical of that because you could go, well, I've done better than Dak. He hasn't been in the league as long as Dak, but Dak still got a pretty good contract his first 4 years. And you mentioned Brock Purdy's close to Jared Goff. I think they are similar quarterbacks and just kind of how I believe both need weapons around them, and they can still do that with these contracts.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's going to be plenty of opportunity for the 49ers to still build around them. They did sign Fred Warner to the largest linebacker contract, and they were able to do that because they're not paying Brock Purdy as much as Dak.
Yeah, and talking about that and just kind of how we rank quarterbacks, that is, of course, coming up later this year. But when you look at Joe Burrow, you could argue Josh Allen, and then it depends on where Patrick Mahomes, they kind of, I think, move the money around. But when you think about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, they don't need those weapons. They appreciate those weapons in Joe Burrow's case. But to me, you can make the argument he doesn't need Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. They can do it. But they're taking a unique approach in building a roster. Those are the type of quarterbacks, that top 5 quarterback, where it's worth the money. But versus Dak, I would slot him in that Jared Goff, Brock Purdy section of he needs weapons. He needs to have a great offensive line. You could pay defense is what the Niners did. And then, of course, the Niners had to move money around. I would say that was part of the Debo contract. but it also just didn't work for them anymore with Debo. So really surprised with how these negotiations came down, and Brock Purdy didn't. I know he entered the top 5 with total contract, but yearly, I think it's the annual value that's the most important, and he's not in the top 5 for that.
Yeah, so I think the 49ers got a great deal, and I'm excited to see how they continue to build. Do you think any new QB signings will be more like Brock Purdy, to where they're maybe reaching the Joe Burrow level of 55, but they don't go up to the Dak, or do you think people will, in short order, pass Dak?
That's a thing that, to me, an important question, because it's usually the next quarterback continues to go up. So I thought Purdy would pass Dak, then someone would pass Purdy. But to me, it really depends on what quarterbacks are up next year.
That's a good question. I don't actually know off the top of my head who's up next.
So you have... Trying to look... There's really not anyone, I would say.
Next year?
I can't really find a list. All I keep seeing is Brock Purdy. Because you got to look at the NFL draft, so this would be the 2027? No, this would be the 2026. So you would have to think about the 2021 draft. So that's the Trevor Lawrence pick.
And he's already paid.
Yeah, he's already got a contract. So I guess you have to look at 2022. Where that's the Kenny Pickett draft.
Yeah, and there wasn't many QB options around there, so
yeah, maybe an extension, but that one's going to be different because you've already extended Josh Allen. Feel like Hurts was already extended?
Yeah, he was. He's going to pay $51 million.
Yeah. So that means the next really quarterbacks are Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, which is the 2023 draft. And that's a couple years out.
So we think that Dak's going to remain for at least another 2 years-ish as the highest paid QB in the league?
Yeah, I agree. Just kind of that's surprising to me, and kind of goes to just how bad that was handled. Because all the other quarterbacks seem to be playing well. They're already on contract. Jordan Love's it doesn't make sense. Maybe Kyler, but I think the Cardinals have more negotiation with Kyler versus when CJ Stroud comes up, and he continues to play well, he's not going to have much leverage. Because to me, the leverage is, this is a quarterback league. You don't want to invest that much into drafting and developing a new quarterback. If you find the guy, you want to keep the guy with you. So that's why I'm shocked Purdy didn't have maybe this is what he wanted, but I don't think he got everything he wanted, because he would argue to pay with Dak. And the other quarterbacks, Baker, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, I don't see them having leverage to gain this. It's more a quarterback coming out of the draft and getting his first contract, to me, that has a lot of leverage.
Yeah. I we'll have to do a different video at some point regarding the Dak contracts and because I still think that that's a notable moment in Cowboys history for how that was handled, but we'll have to see if anyone else tries to contest that for a while now.
Yeah, and that, of course, will be a topic of conversation for us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow us, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.